Watch the entire video, my lovely viewers, I mean from start to finish, to get the whole thing. Without wasting much of your time, let's get right into it. Hi lovely viewers, it's me again, your one and only Mutati Mpundu. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time on my channel, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting the red subscribe button down below and turn the bell icon to join the notification squad. Don't forget to like, share and leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this video in the comment section below. I'll be super glad to hear from you lovely viewers.
Let's get into it. There are a couple of things we need to talk about that I think are of the utmost importance. And if we don't talk about them, guess who's going to talk about them? Nobody. Nobody. This is the reason it's very important for us to remain engaged almost in real time. Guys, am I the only one, or has Fred Membe sort of engaged himself in some type of guerrilla politics? I'll explain all this. I will, as I always try to do. Now, to give you a bit of context, many of you know who Fred Membe is. Fred Membe is a new politician. For years, he was the news editor of the most powerful independent newspaper. Many years ago, this was back in the early 90s, and he went through the mid 90s, and for years, he was the sole consciousness of the Zambian populace. That's a very big sentence I've just given you, and it's true and it's accurate. In those days, what Fred Membe said set the political tone of the whole nation. Now, you've got to remember, this was back when the Post newspaper was the be-all and end-all. This was back when the Post newspaper was the go-to platform and medium that gave you an aggressive alternative view of the political landscape. Fred Membe did that, and he wielded this power for years, you know. And throughout history, many presidents had tried, attempted to muzzle Fred, to shut him down. They were not able to do it. But Chiluba tried. It was an exercise, as we say in Zambia, in futility. Mwewa tried to shut the Post down. His efforts landed with a hollow thud. Masata tried to shut that thing down. His efforts landed with a hollow thud. And then one day, one Ediga Igowanja Gwalungu steps up and he says, Fred, you can mess around with the other presidents. I'm gonna shut you down. You can dance around the tulips with Abene Frederick Chiluba, Abene Michael Sata, Abene Mwewa, but you can't mess around with me, Fred. Edgar Lungu shut the Post newspaper down, brought it down to its knees, shut it down. And Edgar looked the other way. Fred lost everything. I mean, granted, Fred avoided paying tax, and that's how it works, okay? I mean, in African politics, the way it works is, if there's a kink in your armor, if you are lacking, if you have fallen short in any area, guess what? The machinery takes care of you. It's just the way it works. Call it African politics. Call it whatever you want to call it. That's the name of the game. So because Fred decided not to pay his taxes, according to ECL and his team, they landed on him like a ton of bricks. They shut his entire operation down. Hundreds of thousands of jobs were lost because, you know, the ripple effect of the Post newspaper's existence was multifaceted. I mean, the Post newspaper was responsible, was one of the largest independent media house employers in the whole country. You know, and they were branching off into transportation and the internet. And I mean, Fred was like an octopus. He was like an economic octopus. You know, his hands were just everywhere. But then Edgar Lungu put a bullet through Fred Membe's existence. Post newspaper shut down. Everything and anything associated with the newspaper shut down. Fred Membe became a rumor in the area of news media. But now things have changed. The landscape has changed. Zambia has evolved, and we have to evolve with it. When once there was a time the whole nation was listening to one voice, which was Fred Membe's voice, things are different now. Now, the media landscape has changed. Now we listen to everybody. You that are watching me right now, you can just open your Facebook page and start commenting. You'll have an audience. Zambia's attention now is fragmented. In other words, Fred Membe no longer has the power that he once had. Fred Membe no longer has the Post newspaper to wield and slash anybody that he deemed unfit to be worthy of attention. He just cut you down. That no longer exists. And because that no longer exists, Fred Membe is one of the most bitter politicians I have ever come across. His tone is militant. His demeanor is aggressive. His existence is vengeful. There is no place in real politics for that type of politician, especially in this dispensation. I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, that Fred Membe is a product of his own anger. He is. Here, a few hours ago, he's written an article which, truthfully speaking, hardly anybody has paid any attention to. The only reason I highlight it is because he calls himself an opposition leader. And you know, the way things work is that anybody that calls themselves an opposition leader, whenever they speak, it's worthy of note. Okay? We have to talk about it. So Fred Membe, a few hours ago, he wrote, and he says, you know, HH is full of fear. That HH's decisions are driven by his fear. Nothing could be further from the truth. Fred Membe is trying to spin a false narrative, and he thinks that you guys are going to buy it. Nobody's buying it. You know why? Because it's self-evident. HH is not full of fear. HH's decisions are not propelled, they're not fueled by fear. He's a human president that is dealing with the situation as best as he can. That's all it is. The challenges that HH faces now are no different from the challenges that Makaunda faced. They're no different from the challenges that Chiluba faced, are no different from the challenges Mwanawasa faced, are no different from the challenges Sata faced, are no different, my brothers and sisters, I submit to you, no different from ECL's challenges. He's just a different president with a different style. Far be it from Fred to paint the picture that HH is somehow lost in the wilderness. On the contrary, we have a president for the first time in a very long time that is confident and is clear when he speaks. Confident and clear when he speaks. Now, I know, you know, this is politics and it's partisan politics, and I understand not everybody agrees with that, and that's fine. That's the nature of democracy. That's the characteristic of a democratic dispensation. You can't agree all the time on all points. Granted, I get it. But far be it from Fred Membe to begin to weave a narrative that is absolutely false. Fear? What, you think HH is driven by fear? Come on, Fred. Try something else. Come on, Fred. You know that's not true. So if you know it's not true, Fred, why the hell are you trying to peddle that lie? The bottom line, Fred, is that you're angry and you're full of bitterness because HH is president and you're not. That's the truth. And if that is going to be your motivation, Fred, if your motivation is purely based on the fact that you hate and you resent the fact that HH is president and not you, you're not going to get very far. Because that's not what the presidency is about. It's about service to the Zambian people. The presidency is not an opportunity for you to settle political scores. Never. If that's your thinking, which it is, Fred, your tone is very militant. Your demeanor is very aggressive. Every time I see you speaking, you're angry. You're furious. You're full of rage. You are not the right man to be president of this country. You're going to take us down the wrong road. We need a level-headed president. A president that is sure of himself. A president that has a clear vision. A president that puts service first. HH fits that bill. You don't. You don't. I thought I'd share that with you. I'm going to go have some lunch. It's a late lunch for me. Love you guys. Bye.
This is DJ Mutati exclusive.
Alright, that's all for you today, lovely viewers. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about the video you just watched in the comment section below. I'll be super glad to hear from you, lovely viewers. Once again, I go by the name of Mutati Mpundu. I love you, peace, I gotta go.